Hello, everyone. This is Madame Pamita, and you are watching the Live Magic Q&A Tea Party, which I forgot the name of it when I tried to announce it on Instagram the other day, and I almost forgot it now. Oh my God. My brain is a little fried right now because I'm working on my candle magic book, and my second deadline is tomorrow, and I'm doing all the last minute revisions, and I'm going cuckoo. Anyway, welcome. Hello, Spell Squad. You are the Spell Squad. You guys in the room are in the Spell Squad, and it's so exciting that you're here. I'm so happy to see all of you. So happy that we're in the clubhouse together. This is the place where we learn about magic, we learn about divination, we learn about all those fun things, and we learn it at the weekly tea party that we have here live on Zoom. It's pretty exciting. If you are watching this after the fact, you want to know that if you're watching this on YouTube or somewhere else, I want to let you know that this is a free live magic Q&A tea party that we do every week on Sundays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you would like to be part of the clubhouse, it's free to get in. There's not even, well, there is a secret password. I'll say that. The secret password is you have to go to spellsquad.com, and then you'll get a link to get into the room so that you can be here with us. I love, by the way, I love this format. As you guys know that have been with me for a while, you old time Spell Squad members. I used to do my thing on Instagram and YouTube, but the problem was if I had a question or needed clarification on something that you guys were asking, there was no way for me to have a conversation with you. And this format lets me do that. So I am in love with doing the Zoom format. Plus it's our cute little secret clubhouse, and we get together and it's fun. So let's see, if you are just stumbling upon this and you don't know who Madame Pamita is, that's me. I'm Madame Pamita. You can find me online at parlorofwonders.com. I'm the owner of the Parlor of Wonders. I'm the author of Madame Pamita's Magical Tarot, and I'm also the soon-to-be author of the Candle Magic book, the Candle Magic book. Like there's no other Candle Magic book out there. I didn't come up with the title, the publishers did, but I'm like, all right, I'll own it. I'll wear that fake fur coat. Anyway, our guest today is I'm very, very excited to have our guest because Elo and I have known each other for few years now. We've known each other virtually, and we've met when I've gone to New York, and he is just an absolute delight. So knowledgeable, so loving, so really a great magician and a great magical worker and a great reader. And he is bilingual. So if you have someone that you want to have a reading in Spanish, or Spanish is your first language, you can have it in English, you can have it in Spanish with him, you can have it in Spanglish probably, right? Right, Elhoim? Oops.
Hi, everyone. Yeah.
So let me tell them a little bit about you. He's an astrologer, a dowser. He's an urban shaman. He has been working on esoteric subjects through digital platforms, social media. He's an author. He's a blogger. He is a reader. He's, I don't know if you do root work for people. Maybe you do magic for people.
I am a human.
He's a human. And he specializes in neo-paganism, witchcraft, astrology, motivation, spirituality, palmistry. I think you kind of do it all. You hit all the high points, right?
I'm trying. You just don't know.
You're just an amazing scholar, and you know so much. So his amazing book, that I know of, is The Magical Art of Crafting Charm Bags. It is an amazing book about not only the mojo bags that I'm very familiar with, working mojo bags and that kind of traditional hoodoo, African-American hoodoo style mojo bags, but there are charm bags in every culture, practically every culture. Is that the case, Elhoim?
Yeah, it's in every country. For that reason, I usually it's like my favorite kind of magic because it's very practical. And sometimes when you do a ritual or some kind of magic, you need to have like a feeling that you have something in your hands, that you are doing not just something so holistic. You want to have something in your hands that you can say, oh, this is my magic, this is my power, and this is the proof that I did something. So when I started to do charm bags very child, hiding to my mom with her books. And I like it because it's, for example, you go to the college, you go to the university, and you make a spell or a ritual or some kind of magical charm bag for have very good feelings with the people or new friends or have a very good relation with your teacher. You put the charm bag in your bag, and when sometimes you are having when you are doubting about it, when you are like, maybe this is not happening, every time that you open your bag, you see your charm bag, and you are like, okay, it's true. I make a spell. I have a charm bag. I have it in my hand, so I have the control of the situation. So you feel like you have the power in your hands, and that feeling for the people, I think, is very important, because sometimes you do a spell or a ritual, and you are like, okay, no, I don't see that nothing are happening, and this can be frustrating for the people. This can be very depressive. And sometimes the spell work, but not in the way that you are waiting that this happen. But when you do a charm, like you choose personally the elements that you need for the spell. You choose the crystals, you choose the herbs, you choose the oils, you choose all the elements. So you have like the total decision, because the charm bag in the end is like a very small organization that you create, and you are the boss and you are the owner. And you have the power to decide in what direction you want to take this energy. You say, okay, I have this charm bag and I want to sell this energy or send this energy in that direction, not in that direction. For that reason, I think it's very practical, especially for beginners, because sometimes when you are alone in home, possible you feel bored, or you don't feel like able to do magic in your place. You want something that you can have in your hands, like a wand, like a magical wand of the magician. So a charm bag is like that. It's like, okay, I make this spell and I have the spell in my hands. I can charge the spell again, or I can cancel the spell when I need it. It's not so like the air, like other spells that you just drop in the air and you just are waiting that this happen.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that I think that is so powerful about anytime we're using magical objects, like doing a candle, I've been focused completely on candle magic, in my book. And so that's my obsession right now, is thinking about that. But there's a parallel with charm bags and candles and all of these things. And I think there are differences, which I'll talk about in a second. But what my belief is that when we do something like make a charm bag or we do a candle, the essence of magic, which I think you'll agree, is the belief and the thought that we have. And if you are really, let's say, very much in control of your thoughts and beliefs and can be really pure, you don't need a charm bag and you don't need a candle. But the reality is most people go, I want a lover. Well, why don't I have a lover? I want a lover. Oh, but there's nobody good out there. I want to, they go back and forth. So those things like the charm bag, the candle, the thing that we're using as our magical tool is the support that keeps the energy going forward, even when we don't. Yeah.
It's a recordatory. It's like, in case of you forgot that you make a spell for a situation, when you see the charm bag, after some weeks that you make the spell, this reminds you like, you do this spell before, so confide that something is happening. Maybe you don't see it yet, but the charm bag is in there, so you made the ritual. This is not something that you are thinking that you do. You really did it. So you have it in your hands. It's like a recordatory that you made the spell, that you have it in your hands.
Yeah, it reminds you, exactly. It reminds you that spell, but it also feels like energetically when you charge something, when you charge something, it's continued.
An enchantment about something. This is important. And sometimes it's like you say, when you do magic, we have this problem that we grow up trying to have the control of all the situations around. So when you don't have the control, or you don't feel that you have the control, you start to have some anxiety or so depression, because you are like, okay, I did this spell, I work with whatever, your God, your spirit, your orishas, your ancestors, and you are feeling like, okay, nothing's happening. And the anxiety start to telling you in your mind, oh, you are alone, this not are happening, this spell not was good for you, this situation is very bad. But when you have something in your hand, like a magical book, like a candle that you make with a spell, it's like, you know, I have the power of the situation.
Yeah.
It's just the anxiety speaking behind my mind. I have the control of the situation, so I don't go to let that my anxiety lie to myself. I just go to continue believing that I can control things that are happening in this moment, wherever a family situation, economical situation, a situation of the world, a situation with a friend, because you make the spell, but sometimes you start to thinking, oh, these are not happening. And it's important to have a tool with you, have a tool that, like a candle, like an amulet, like a charm, like when you have a ring that, I don't know, the ring of wedding that your husband gives you, it's like, you know, don't care what the people say, I am with him. So this is a recordatory of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the thing I see is the difference between, so we go like, well, why do we want to do a charm bag versus why do we want to do a candle? And this is a question that sometimes get asked. And I say that a charm bag in particular is very good for a situation that you want to keep the energy going for a long time.
Yeah.
Like your example of, I'm going to a new school, I want to do well in school, I want to make friends, I want the teachers to like me. That's something ongoing. And so doing a candle for that doesn't really have,
relation between lovers. If you want to fix something, you can do a charm bag to fix something in large time.
Yeah. So if you have, I mean, the charm bag to, like, for example, to attract a lover in is great because it's on you, you're carrying it with you, you're out in the world, and it can pull that thing to you. So I think there are cases where, you know, it's not like interchangeable, like a candle is the same as a charm bag is the same as, you know, doing a ritual or whatever. It's not the same. They have kind of their specialty of, you know, like when do you want to use a poppet, for example, and when do you want to use a charm bag, and when do you want to use a candle, and when do you want to use these other things?
A bottle of magic, a bottle of sorcerer.
Bottle, yeah, a bottle and those other things. So I think the difference for me, because I'm so obsessed right now with candles, is thinking about that idea that the candle is something like you're sending off a strong energy, but it's not necessarily maintaining that energy. And a charm bag is something that will keep going. So sometimes candles can change a situation, but to maintain a situation or to have consistency, a charm bag seems like a more effective tool for a consistent sort of thing, you know?
Yeah, you do a charm bag. I mean, if you just need a spell for something in a short time, you can do any other spell. But if it's something for a long time, like a relation, for example, I made this charm bag that I always speak about this respect because my friend was married. She was trying to marry. And the last days before the wedding, she was starting like, oh, I don't know if we need to marry. I don't know if he is the one. I'm not sure about the families, about her children. She started to feeling very bad. So I made a charm bag to just focus her energy in the relation. She could a part of the clothes of the dress, that white cloth for make the charm bag for the spell. In that way, it was like, okay, you go with this charm bag every time that you are doubting about the situation. And this go to help you to focus in a calm mind, but with a good feeling, to take the decision that you need to take. And the day of the wedding, she has the charm bag between the flowers.
Oh, sweet.
I remember the moment when she was with the future husband in the moment, when the Pope, the person, say... The priest,
yeah.
When he says, oh, you accept him, and blah, 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 blah. And I remember that she was watching him, she see the charm bag, and she was like, yeah, I accept him. So it's like this helped her to focus in something that is wonderful for her life in a long time. Because it's not something like, oh, you know, I made a charm bag for take a decision about, I don't know, what color I'm going to paint my home. No, it's something in a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, our first question, I'm going to get to the first question because the first question is actually going to lead to another little question. Adam asks if you and I, one of us, both of us individually, do we have any upcoming classes? I know that for you, you are working on a book right now, right?
Yeah, I'm working. Yeah, I'm working in two different books in this moment, but I have the same question. When you, Madame Pamita, made more workshops in New York City? I need to that one was amazing. I was on the workshop like, wow.
Oh, you're
It
so
was
sweet.
really great. And I have some workshops after April because now we have the winter in New
Yeah.
York.
Yeah.
That is very difficult for the people. So I'm going to start the workshop after April. For now, I'm working in my next two books.
What are those two books going to be about?
One, I started writing a book about the male god like 4 years ago, and I continue working in that book. The publisher say it's ready, but I continue saying to the publisher, no, I think that this needs much more work. And another book about prosperity magic, because I remember, maybe you or other people see my Instagram or in my Facebook. Weeks ago, I had this meeting with Brian Cain and Christian Day, the people of the Hex Fest.
Mm-hmm.
We was speaking about magic, about spells, and this kind of thing. I was telling to him, I'm doing this book about prosperity magic. And I remember that he looked at me like, okay, but it's just focusing money or it's about prosperity? Because I mean, it's I think very complicated for the people. And also, you have so much money. And I remember that I say him, okay, I'm not sure. Well, I come from a very complicated country, in a very complicated situation, in a very complicated year, and I literally come to New York with just $15 in my pocket.
Wow.
And then come back with my clothes after past literally one whole month just eating bread and oatmeal.
Wow.
I was like a bomb. I was literally looking like a bomb in that moment. And I come to New York with just $15, and 6 months after that, I was in a good apartment. I have a contract with the publisher. I have my work in the hands of Judica Illes. So I was like, okay, all the spells that I do in some ways work.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert, but I think that I can share these spells and rituals that I did for me with the people because I know that some people need it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's very interesting because to judge someone about like, oh, unless you're Jeff Bezos or you're, multi-billionaire person, you can't talk about prosperity magic. No, it's not that at all. It's like, are my needs getting met? And do I feel like I have plenty and abundance in my life of happiness, good things, and I have food on my table, a roof over my head? You're
Exactly.
better off than 75% of the world, that are hungry and don't have a roof. So the prosperity it's like you don't have to be a multi-millionaire to experience prosperity. Prosperity is that feeling that I'm financially safe. I don't have to worry about my finances, right?
Exactly. Prosperity is don't have too much. It's have what do you really need.
Yeah.
I always say, because I don't have fear or shame to say something about it, I come from a very poor family. We have 6 children in an apartment with just one room. My dad and my mother working all day in a country with a very complicated situation. And I come from there. I started working when I was like 12 years in a market because my older sister was pregnant and we need money. So I was between my classes in the school and working. And I come from that family, but we was poor in some ways, but always we have food, always we have very good schools, I go to the college, I was in the college in that country, so I learned English between that country and here. I have the money to buy a little apartment in there, and I sell that apartment to buy my ticket to come to New York. So prosperity, I think that is a concept about, you can be bad, but you have all that you need. You have food, you have all the things.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's really lovely. It's just a great way to be an appreciation for, I think in America, a lot of times people get very spoiled because
Exactly.
and unfortunately our culture is very materialistic. And so they always make you feel like if you don't have a Tesla car, you don't have a,
Exactly.
a mansion, you're not a success. And it's a little disgusting, to be honest, but it's
Exactly.
this idea of like, oh, if you have, you share. If you have enough that you are, you have a roof over your head, you have food on your table, there's a lot to be grateful for. That is so much that I think we forget as Americans in particular, is that if you have that roof over your head and you have food on your table, you're better
Exactly.
off than so many people in this world that would look at that like that was a castle, like that was a
Yeah.
palace, So, all right, well, let's get to the answer is you are going to have a class in April.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I don't really have any classes that are designated yet, but if you're on the Spell Squad and you get my newsletter, you will find out. I'm going to be at PantheaCon, but I'm not going to be teaching a class. I have a booth in the merchant area, the vendor area. And guess what I'm doing? This is very exciting. It's the last PantheaCon, and we wanted to have a amazing, for the last 5 years, I've been saying we need to do this, which is to have a disco party. I want a disco party with a big, but it's a tarot themed disco party. So instead of Studio 54, it's Studio 78, like the 78 cards of the tarot. And we're going to pick songs that have associations to tarot cards, and
Okay.
we're projecting those, and it's going to be just a big wild disco. So that's not a class. It's what I want to do. It's what I want to have, which is I want to have a big disco party. All right, so let's get to the next. And I probably will be teaching an online tarot course actually for everybody in the world. Anybody can do it sometime in early 2020. I'll be having an online course, but I don't know the dates yet, so I have to figure that out. Angela says hello. Katie says hello. DB says big Seder hello, like Pan Seder, from Vancouver. Adam says
Hello,
I love Vancouver. Okay, here's a great question. Mercury retrograde, is it real or fake? I will start with that one, and you'll talk about it too. Do you want to talk about that one?
For me, is real. From my perspective, it's real because I learn a lot of astrology. I don't see it, but I don't see it like, oh, it's Mercury retrograde, so we are going to die, it's the end of the world, because we really have like 2 or 3 Mercury retrogrades in the year. It's just a period to reanalyze the communications and stay with your documents ready and trying to check out 2 or 3 times every document, and don't sign anything that you are not totally sure about. I believe in astrology from a view more humanistic, more like, it's not the end of the world. It's just a time to meditate on different kind of things. Like when you have Venus retrograde, you can take that moment that you analyze your relation, not just with your partner, also with your mother, or with your grandpa, or with your father, or with your brothers and sisters. So I think that it's a time to make a review of your life, of different aspects of your life, but it's not like it's the end of the world.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think very interesting that this only has happened in the last 5 years or so. We've been around forever. I've been around forever. You're young then. But I mean, like, this Mercury retrograde paranoia has only been around for the last 5 years. And here's how I see it, is that all energy, it's like riding a wave on a surfboard. You want to take that energy and use it to the best possible way. So to say, for example, that a waning moon getting smaller is bad and a waxing moon is good, it's not true. The waning moon is a great time to get rid of stuff, and the waxing moon is a great time for bringing in things. So we don't look at one as bad time or one as a good time. It's just there are different energies and different waves, kinds of waves that you're going to ride. For me, the wave of Mercury retrograde is amazing for past life work. It is phenomenal. If you're going to do past life work, you get the most intense, amazing messages and really clarifying messages. Because why? Mercury retrograde is a time to go back and revisit, fix things, revise things, change things,
Exactly.
Kind of refine things. So if you're going back and looking backward, it's the perfect time. If you're going back and fixing something, broken relationship, it's great for that. If you're fixing it's something that you started a project a long time ago and then you abandon it, you going back to that project, it's the perfect time for that.
It's a good moment for that.
Yes, it's like the best time for doing this revision work. So the problem with Mercury retrograde is forward motion can sometimes be hindered. So weird things will happen, especially with communication things or with electronics, I find, or things like that. Yeah. You'll have problems. So I always go, well, allow for extra time. I'm going to give you one little Mercury retrograde story that happened this Mercury retrograde. It drove me insane.
Yeah.
I drove somewhere to get beeswax for candles. I loaded up my car with like 500 pounds of beeswax in my SUV. Getting ready to drive back to my shop with this 500 pounds of beeswax. I was 2 hours away from home, went out into the middle of San Gabriel Valley, which is kind of far. If you guys are in LA, I was going to go drive back and my keys were gone. My car keys. I drove there. We looked everywhere in the factory. We looked everywhere in my car. I looked everywhere in my purse. I pulled everything out of my car, the 500 pounds of beeswax, unloaded that. So what was supposed to be, and then I never found my keys. So I had my boyfriend come out, bring me my extra set of keys. So what was supposed to be a 2-hour trip turned into the whole day. The whole day was spent getting my extra set of keys. And I was like to the lady, I'm like, if you find my keys, just let me know and you can mail them to me, or I'll get them, right? I get home 8:00 that night. I look in my purse and there are my keys. I spent a whole day. I dumped my purse out, but it was in a side pocket. So those are the kinds of things that happen with Mercury retrograde. You just can't, if you are a person who is like an efficiency, it's going to be a rough time for you. You get the lesson of patience. You get the lesson of learning to laugh at yourself, and you get the lesson of humility. Like, that was a humiliating experience to make everybody, the whole world had to stop because I couldn't find my keys and they were really in my purse. So that's the kind of thing that happens during Mercury retrograde. And I just go, okay, that's what I'm meant to be doing today. I'm meant to be sitting. I actually sat and used that time well, but I was sitting and waiting, So Mercury retrograde is real. It's definitely a real energy, but it's not a bad energy. It's not a negative energy unless you are pushing against the flow.
Exactly.
If you're pushing against the flow on anything, it's going to be painful. That's the lesson in Mercury retrograde. All right, let's go to another question from M. Hola. Hello, everyone. Hola, we got a nice bilingual welcome. Madame Pamita, not exactly on topic. Is Cyber Monday planned at Parlor of Wonders online store? Thank you. I'm going to be having a special for Spell Squad members. I'm going to be sending out a code for gift certificates for readings. So if you want to buy readings with a discount for yourself, it's going to be 25% off. Buy readings for yourself, buy readings for your friends. You can buy them as gifts and send them to your friends. I'm going to be doing that. So I don't know if I'm going to get it out on Cyber Monday. We'll see, but somewhere around there, I'm going to be doing this special though. So I do have a special coming out. Here's a great question about magic. So that wasn't really a magic question, but great question about magic. Katie asks, I am having surgery next week. What magic can I do to help? I can't carry anything with me during the surgery. Do you want me to go, or do you want to go? Hello.
You go first.
Okay.
Because my options are amulet, but probably you go be a little more experts.
So here's what I'm going to say. You've got two options. When you cannot have your magic with you, can't have magic visible with you, there's actually 3 options I would give. The first one that comes to mind is to put an oil on yourself. So you could put a healing oil, you could put a success oil, grand success oil. You could do open roads to open up the health coming to you. You could do release and restore to like have a healing energy. So there's a lot of oils that you can use. Put a couple drops on your hands, put them in an upward motion. You could do protection oil. I mean, it depends on what your goal is, your magical goal is with the surgery. But my initial sort of, and where I would go first would be success, grand success. You want the surgery to be successful, healing you and doing all that. So let's put out a success energy. You could put a couple drops of oils on your hands, put your hands over your body in an upward motion, and no one needs to be any the wiser. They're not going to wash your body down before you go in. So you'll have that magic with you. Say your prayer as you do that, say that. Another way you could do it is to have incense and do an incense, smudging. You could use a smudge. You could use incense to smudge yourself with that before. Now, if you're in the hospital before, you're going to have to do that before you go to surgery, before you go in the hospital. The oil's a little handier because you could do that in the hospital, but you're not going to be able to do incense in the hospital. Third option is that you can light a candle before you go into surgery. Set that candle for your healing before you go in. So you can do that along with the oil, along with the incense. You can do that all before you go in and do the oil when you go in. So you've got a lot of buildup to a lot of energy, and none of it is something that you're having to carry with you. So Ella, what would you say on that?
Okay, first, good luck. and second, what do you need to go before surgeries is in, like Pamita say, in your healing energy. So it's good if you make a spell. You can put in a green charm bag because green symbolizes hope and also is healing because it's the color of the Mother Earth, of the Pachamama. You put in there the hems or stones of your zodiacal sign. You put in there with a quartz, with a white quartz. You put almond oil in there, and you put this charm bag next to a green candle with your name in it. You go to make this at least 1 or 2 days before the surgery, and when the candle finishes, you go to put another, because they go to help you in two different things. In have a successful surgery, that's very important, and make that your healing energy start to high before the surgery, not just wait, oh, I have the surgery yesterday, so I'm going to do a spell to healing tomorrow. No, start before. You need to pick up before of the surgery. You make the spell to make that your healing energy is high up before the surgery. In that way, you are totally confident that you are going in good hands of the doctor, and the surgery will go to be successful. After that, when you go to home, you take the chamber and put under your bed or next to your bed to channel that energy for you, because this have your energy and your healing energy that's going to help you to healing faster. This is totally simple, and this totally easy to do, because this was what my mom do after has every child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think? Can someone take a charm bag, for example, and have it in the drawer in the hospital? Like it would be with them when they were in the hospital room, but then when they go to surgery, they're not going to have it with them. But then when they're back in the room, it will be next to them.
Usually, I recommend put the charm bag very close to you. But you can put in a bag, for example, or you can put the charm bag in your jacket and keep it in the room, in the hospital. But if you say that you can take it with you in the hospital for some reason, you can let it in home next to a candle with your name. It's like a sympathetic magic that makes you take the energy through the candle, through the energy of the candle.
Yeah.
But you can put it in the jacket. I mean, I have a lot of charm bags in my jacket, in my bag, in my shoes.
Yeah, I think it's, if you can't have it, like sometimes we can't have it on us. I think the ideal is to have it on us, but if we can't have it on us, having it close by is not a bad thing. And if she Katie, she wanted to do it with a charm bag, she could do that and have it just like in the drawer next to her. Or you could, once you're out, like you could have it up until the time you go into the surgery, and then when you come back out again, and just for that time that you're in surgery, you would have it with you.
exactly, because the spell is ready. The charm bag is just the object of the spell.
Yeah.
But the spell is with you because it's a spell for healing you, not for the charm bag. The charm bag is just the place where the spell are ready.
Yeah.
Is where you deposit the spell.
Yeah. So I think you always, there's not like with magic, it's not like you have to have it this way. And if you don't do it this way, I think in a lot of magic, you can have a lot of leeway. And in that situation where you can't have something with you in a surgery, it's okay if you do the best that you can, which would be have it before, have it afterwards, and there you go. But you can have the oil on you the whole time, and that's great and keeps that energy going. So I don't think that's a problem at all. All right, let's look at this one. Stephanie has a question, and it's really a question for you, Elo. I'm curious, do you create, I can answer this one too, actually. I'm curious, do you create each bag uniquely, or do you have recipes that you recreate? So for me, I sell charm bags to people, I sell mojo bags to people, and I have recipes, but I also have custom ones. So if you look on my site and you look under mojo bags, you'll see like there's a come to me one, and there's a abundant prosperity one, and there's this, that, and the other. Those are with recipes. So like I have a recipe I assembled. If you can get the kit where you get all the ingredients, or you can have me assemble it. Either way. If you have me assemble it, I put it together. It's me that puts it together, me that blesses it, me that breathes into it, all of that. And then I send it to you. But there is one option, which is a customized mojo bag. So if you don't see the mojo bag that fits your particular situation, you can do the custom one and then have that with your special intention. Do you make mojo bags for people or charm bags for people?
I make mojo bags for the people. It's essentially what the people ask me. But I have my recipes for all the people, very general recipes. So for example, if I need to do something fast, I take all the elements that I have in the altar. I take the things that I need for a protection spell or a healing spell or something. I put in the charm bag, and it's a very, very general spell. And I do a very little ritual to consecrate the charm bag. But if you need something like you say, like Madame Pamita say, for a particular situation, a very special situation, is preferably take a recipe for the person. For example, I made some charm bags for divination, for diviners, and I put some little bones in the charm bag, but some people don't like anything with animals because they are Wiccans or something. So I made herbal charm bags with just some herbs and flowers. Some people prefer crystals because the crystals is very nice. They are nice. Yeah. The people like crystals, and it's very in this moment. So the people ask for charm bags with crystals, or sometimes people come to us for a charm bag and they say, I want a charm bag, but I want to put this little crystal or rock, exactly, or amulet that I take from France or Egypt, I don't know, from a travel, and I want to put this item inside the charm bag. And I say, okay, I'm going to prepare a charm bag for this special item, because you can have it a general or personalized. This depends of what want the people and the time of them. Sometimes they can come and say, my wife has a problem, she's in the hospital in this moment, and I need a charm bag for that. Okay, take it. But if you give me the time, I can prepare something for you in a week or 2 weeks.
Oh, excellent. So you have like a general, I'd say a basic one, and then you can customize it a little bit too,
exactly.
Which is great to see.
It's for all the people, because it's like all in the magic. The people like to have different opinions. The people like to have different options. So you can make a charm bag with just herbs. You can make a charm bag with just crystals. You can make a charm bag with all different kind of things, depending on what do you really like. Some people specialize in magic with herbs and flowers. You can make a charm bag with just herbs and flowers. It's your option. It's your decision.
Yeah, it's beautiful. All right, so next question we have. This is an interesting question, and I have never really thought about this before. And then I was looking at the question. I'm like, oh well, here's my solution on the fly of what I would immediately think of. So Lauren asks, I have a work altar at home and a work altar in my office. Is there a stone or twin stones, so two stones, that I can use to bridge those two altars, to connect the two altars? My home altar has a lot of things going on that might draw too much attention in my professional setting. Meaning, okay, so I'm getting this, is like you got a big full-blown altar in the house for your work, prosperity, all of these things. And in the office, you want to have a little stone to sort of connect to that altar at home.
Okay.
So what do you want to take that one, or do you want me to go first?
Usually I say woman first, but just this time, I'm going to be the bad guy.
It's not bad. You're the guest. The guest goes first. That's for sure.
But the woman should speak always before. It's the law. The woman has the children, so they have the word. We not. I don't have a children.
I love you're such a gentleman. I love it. So what do you think though about this altar, big altar at home, little altar in the office? What can link the two of those, connect the two of those?
I like the opal, the hem that they say opal.
Yeah, opal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can. I have spelled with that gem or crystal, the opal, because I can pronounce that.
Yeah.
That you put what is cedar oil? You put the cedar oil in the opal, and you put on red cloth.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you let in there for one whole night, independently of the moon. And the next day you put this opal in a very high place in home. I mean, like not on the table or not on the floor. You can put on
shelf.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where are visible. This go to help to calm the energy around, because they help to balance the energy. This have this effect. This calm the energy around and start to make that the energy start flowing. I like to use this when I was in home in Venezuela, because I have so many sisters, so they are fighting every time, and all of them are witches, because it's a witchery family. So to try to calm the situation, I try to put this always in my room. In that way, it was like, okay, they start to speaking. It's a way to make that the energy flow in a very good way, and it's not forcing the people or the situation or the energy in a very fast way. It's more calming, it's more relaxed. You go to start to see the effects like in between 5 or 10 days approximately if you do it good.
Yeah, I love that. I think it would be really great as looking at a linking kind of spell. Like what I would imagine would be lovely to do, like connect, is having, I think it depends on what the goal of the spell is, but to link two things, one of the sort of properties of linking is magnetism, right? You can feel magnetic pull. So I just sort of looked at this, and I've never really thought about this topic before, but I thought, well, what would be lovely in this situation would be to have two lodestones and have them both on the home altar at least one night or one day, like to get, or maybe start out with having them on for a week, but then bring the other one to work, bring one to work and leave one on the home altar, so that they've kind of had an energy. Maybe here's what I would do. Hey, I just got it. Put those two lodestones together so that they're touching one another. Do a green candle for work or prosperity, or yellow for success. Do a candle. Once that candle is complete, which you've had those lodestones next to each other, then you can take one of the lodestones and take it to the workplace and leave it in the workplace, because it will link to the one that you've charged at home. So you leave one on the home altar, one on the work altar, and now you've got that magnetism, that connection between the two of them, and you're moving something that was with that spell and moving it over to your workplace, and there's still the threads of magnetism between them, so it links it. So that's what I would kind of do on the fly. Have I ever done this before? No, but try it. It sort of just came to me, and I think that, you know, knowing what I know about lodestones and knowing what I know about candle magic, it sounds like something that would work. So, and a lodestone isn't going to be obvious, you know, you can put it anywhere. M says, Madame Pamita, come to the East Coast. Yeah, actually, I forgot to say this when you were saying, Elo, when you were saying come back to New York. I am going to be back in New York a couple times this year. I'm going to upstate New York for something, and then I may go to Catland to teach a class. If I'm already there, I usually, you know, check in with Catland and do something there because I'm there anyway. And then I have a workshop that I'm doing with, this is amazing, I have to say, I'm very excited and very humbled by this. I'm going to be with Rachel Pollack and Mary Kay Greer, assisting them. I'm not on their level, believe me, but I'm going to be assisting them in a tarot workshop that's going to be at a place called Quest something or other, I don't know, but that is going to be happening in the summertime. And then in the fall, I'm going to be possibly teaching at the witch camp at Christopher Penzak's witch camp. Yeah, and so I may be teaching there, and if I'm teaching there, which it hasn't been confirmed yet, then I'm going to do, well, I am going to be in Bellingham, Massachusetts, which is, and if I'm there, then I'll come to Catland. You know, anytime I'm on the East Coast, I'll always pop in and out of Catland because it's so easy and they're so lovely, and I love teaching there, and I just love all my New York witches. My gosh. And it's kind of a little crazy, I have to say, because this week I've got a New York witch, Elo's a New York witch, and next week I have Allie Kravitz, who's the Bronx witch. So I've got New York witches these 2 weeks. So I'm going to, maybe I'll see you New York witches this summer or the fall. You know, I have end of summer and middle of summer I'm going to be doing. Lizzie says, hello. Angela says, I just realized he has a huge Christmas tree already up. We talked about this. Elo, why do you have your Christmas tree up in not even Thanksgiving yet?
Exactly. I am obsessive. I started to work in stores when I was very child. So in Venezuela, you know, we live in this eternal tropical weather. We are in eternal summer. So in October, we start to put the decorations and the trees. The people really don't care if you are Catholic or religious or something. It's like you need to put the decoration, not for you, for the people around. And a lot of people come to my apartment looking for charms or spell or reading or something. So I try to put the tree very early, every year. And I put, probably you can see it for the camp, but I have some charm bags in the tree.
I love that. I love that.
They come to look for the charm bags after 21 because we don't celebrate Christmas, but we celebrate the Christmas spirit, the winter spirit.
Yeah.
We celebrate that for a lot of years ago. So they come and take their charm bags from the tree every year.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, Christmas tree is a big pagan thing. It's old pagan, Germanic pagan from way before there was any Christ or Christmas or any of that stuff. So this idea of the Christmas tree, we're just reclaiming that Christmas tree if you're not a Christian.
Yeah, I have a little tiny story about, I was very child. I grew up between the capital, between Caracas and the Amazonia. Because I have family in there. In family, nobody is Catholic or something. But we always put a Christmas tree, and we never say Christmas in home. We don't say Navidad or something. We don't say holiday. We just in the date we put the tree and we put the decorations. We eat all the food obviously, and we listen to music. When I go to the Amazon, I noticed that the shamans and the spiritual workers in the Amazon, they decorate the trees from the woods too, but in a totally different way, more organic. When I was 9 years, because I'm not a very social person, I don't have so many friends, especially when I was a child. When I was 9 years, I go to a church for the first time because my father put me in a military school. they sent me to the church one day, and I never was in a church before. And they started asking things to me like when you was baptized or when you do your first communion or these kind of things. I never did these kind of things. I was the weird in that moment. And they started speaking with me about the Christmas. This was like in October, November, and they started telling me about the Christmas tradition. And it was like, oh, nice. I don't know anything of that, but I have something like a Christmas tree home. And when I go to home to speak with my mom, they was speaking with me about Jesus and Christmas tree. And she was very mad in the first moment because she don't like that conversation. She really never liked it. But she started explaining to me about paganism, about these kind of things. And she always say, okay, all the people go to tell you this kind of stories. You continue, you let them speak in a very decent way. But you take the option that you prefer. If you want to believe in us, perfect. If you want to believe in them, perfect. But you need to be very casual about it. Try to be very light. Try to be very decent. Try to be not offensive about anything. But don't pronounce that stories in the family because your grandma is very traditional and you can speak about Christmas or Jesus or these kind of things in home. And I was like, okay, it was very traumatic. So after that, I passed the next like 2 or 3 years, every year watching the Christmas tree like, I don't know, what are you? But I like it.
Yeah. I love that in Venezuela, they start their holiday celebration in October. That's awesome. Well, it's really funny because in England too, I remember one time I went to England in early November and I was like, oh, I hope I get to see some Christmas decorations because I do enjoy all the glitter and the decorations. It's so beautiful, right? And oh my God, in England, it's like off the hook. The decorations, they start the minute after Guy Fawkes Day, which is November 5th. It's like crazy Christmas land everywhere. And I had no shortage of Christmas decorations, even though I wasn't even there in December. I was only there for November. So it's like...
Sorry.
I was just going to say, it's only here in America that we get uptight and go, don't have Christmas decorations until after Thanksgiving. It's like a very, I don't know, old tradition that we have, but I don't mind it. I like, hey, bring me my Halloween decorations in July and my Christmas decorations in October. I'm fine. I'm good with it all because I think it's just beautiful, fun, celebratory. I have a great association with it of being like a really sweet time. And I don't associate with necessarily a religious component per se, not a Christian component for sure with a Christmas tree. It's pagan, kids. This is paganism. They just, Saturnalia, look up that one if you want to know about the origin of Christmas, right? And if people believe in the Christian version, I'm cool with that too. If they're I want to celebrate all the holidays. I want to celebrate Kwanzaa. I want to celebrate all, Hanukkah or winter solstice. Just invite me to your party. That's all I care about.
We celebrate in also America. If you go to Brazil or Argentina, the people celebrate the Christmas spirit. It's a spirit that don't have any name. And for tradition, we don't put names in him. We say, the Christmas spirit or the winter spirit. And we put the Christmas tree for him, not for Christmas. It's for him. And we do a ritual with candles and the tree and all of this every year. And I remember when we do in home, my grandpa, who come from Turkey, every time that someone says something about the Christmas tree and the ritual, he said, well, really, the Christmas spirit is before the Christmas. He's very old. He's very ancient. So we just put the tree in home because it's a representation of the nature inside the homes.
Yeah.
And the home is like your body. So you need to put something from outside in there because in that way, the Christmas spirit go to feel very welcome. Yeah. But it's nothing about religion. So
I love that. Well, our time is up. Oh my gosh, that went so fast. And we didn't even talk about, I wanted to talk about more about like your experiences with the Amazonian shamans and things like that. So we're going to have to get together another time sometime and have that. Would you like to do that sometime?
Yes.
Excellent.
I will love it. I will love it.
Oh, thank you so much, Elo, for coming. Now, they can find you. I'm going to tell them how they can find you. If you want to find, I know you are very, very active on Instagram, and I will spell his name because it is a little bit of a weird spelling.
Yeah, it's very complicated.
It's Elhoim. That's Elhoim Leafar. Leafar. You can find him on Instagram. You can also find him at Elhoim Leafar.com, which is his website. And of course, you can find your books everywhere. They're on Amazon. They're on every bookstore. Everywhere you can go, you can find your books. So check out his books. Thank you so much for joining us. It was so lovely to have you. Thank you.
Thanks to you. Very grateful, very happy, and very blessed to be with you because you really know that I love you.
I love you too.
Jealous of your boyfriend. I love you so much.
Well,
You
maybe
are beautiful and you are so smart. And for the people that don't go to your workshops yet, they are losing a lot of time because your last workshop in New York was like, wow. I come home to speak with my family in Venezuela via Skype. I tell to them about the workshop. Oh, I have all my life reading the tarot cards, and now today I learn in just 2 or 3 hours all these kind of things, and I put all of this in a text, and I take a lot of notes here. I have a lot of book about it with all what I learned about the tarot in that workshop that you do.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. You are so sweet. It's such a pleasure having you. I love you so much. You are such a dear, bright, light, beautiful soul. And I love getting together with you. So every time I'm in New York, we always see each other. And it's always such a love fest, isn't it? Thank you so much. Please go check out Elhoim online. Go see him on all his things. He's got some classes coming up. And I bet you if you sign up for his email list or you're following him on Instagram, you will find out more about these workshops and things that he's doing. You can get a reading with him, have him make you a charm bag. There's all kinds of things that you can do. And of course, pick up his book. He's in the middle of book writing right now, so you might have to wait a little bit to get a reading and get a charm bag. We know how that is. It's crazy time when you have a book. But it's such a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you, Spell Squad. Lovely Spell Squad people that are here. I love you guys so much. You are so special, so dear to me, and we always have so much fun in our get-togethers here. I adore you. So I hope that you will join me next week when my guest is going to be Allie Kravitz. She's the Bronx Witch. Yeah, I feel like doing I don't know. I go back, when I think of Bronx, I think of rap music in the 80s. That's what I think of. I want to start spinning on a piece of cardboard on the floor. Anyway, Allie is amazing. She's got a YouTube channel. She's got all kinds of things. She's a teacher. She teaches magic, and she also teaches bartending. So maybe we could talk about magical bartending next week. How to make a drink. I just bought something, by the way. Oh, I don't have it here handy. We'll talk about it next week. I bought a magical liqueur that has a magical ingredient in it, and I'll talk about it next week when we get together. So see you guys next week. Thank you again, Elo, and we'll see you again sometime. We'll have you on again. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your Sunday night, and also have an amazing Thanksgiving, you guys, and I'll see you next Sunday. So love you so much. Have a beautiful, beautiful week, and see you next Sunday. Bye.